Pattern predictions here at the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network. I'm meteorologist Matt Noyes. This is looking out over the next 2 weeks. The explainer on the meteorology behind the 2-week forecast. If you just want the numbers, plain and simple, our app is a great way to get that. Totally free, 5 stars, App Store and Google Play. You're searching for the number 1 degree outside weather. All right, I've been talking about this a little bit in our recent Insights videos. The fact that really, to me, the story over the next coming weeks is not the warmth, even though it's making the headlines as of this recording, because it's warming up for so many folks. The story, the way I see it, is high pressure that does not want to let go in Canada. Now, so often we focus on low pressure, the storms, right? So what does it matter that there's a big dome of high pressure in eastern Canada? The reason it matters is because that's the housing of cold air. We have a ton of snowpack still on the ground throughout Canada. You've got a lot of cold that's built up. And notice on the surface temperature plot in colors here, the black lines indicate the isobars or the pressure lines. Yes, you do have storms that come by. Every time a storm goes by, the cold air is ready to come rushing back in. Why? Because high pressure never really wants to let go at all over the next couple of weeks. And when it does, it keeps rebuilding over Hudson Bay and then coming down through Ontario and Quebec. The reason that's important for us is basically any time that the atmosphere is in between, it's going to lean toward cold winning. It is not going to lean toward warm winning in a pattern like this. So amazingly, you actually may end up colder as you go on to the end of this 2-week period, even though you're getting later on in the month, and you should be progressively getting warmer. Notice the warmth gets pinched off to the south as yet again, cold keeps winning all the way into the 20th and 21st of March. This becomes really interesting because this means that you keep wintry mixes on the table deep into the month. It doesn't mean every one of them is going to be a wintry mix. There will be times the warmth will come in, but it means that we can't write that off like we have in a lot of recent Marches where we say, you know what, you get later in the month and I think you'll be okay. You can't say that this time around. In terms of the 500 millibar heights, how high up you go to the 500 millibar pressure level, it represents average temperature through a deep column of the atmosphere. Notice the upper level low that's coming in off the Pacific and over the Baja. This represents moisture and energy that will team up with the northern stream. This becomes one to deal with toward the end of this week, which we will be talking about in our Insights videos. But what's remarkable, again, to me, is the cold that doesn't want to go away, even through a deep layer of the atmosphere, right? You're talking about the polar vortex, still very well defined on the north side of Hudson Bay. Not only that, but we actually will see the diminishment of a lot of the cold through a deep layer of the atmosphere over by Siberia as everything begins to concentrate on our side of the northern hemisphere. This means with the disturbances dropping down in the northern stream, you'll continue to start carving out a trough or a dip in the jet stream again, colder average temperature. And again, yes, you may be able to warm out ahead of some of these stronger disturbances, but the chances that one of these or more is going to line up for a wintry event is absolutely elevated far beyond what it normally would be heading into a March pattern when you've got an overall pattern that looks like this, that trends in the second half of the month or middle of the second half of the month toward colder air. Now, again, to the point that not every storm is going to end up bringing the wintry mix for everybody, right? Look at the jet stream as we get to the end of this week. Bam, it's pointed right out of the south and southwest, right? Yeah, you might be able to get some snow in northern New England, but generally you've got warmer air coming in. But notice after that, it's not like you've got a bam southerly jet stream every single time. As a matter of fact, there's multiple disturbances that are digging as they drop in. The jet stream may start out of the west. In other words, there are setups that still look like you can't write off winter over the next couple of weeks. In terms of precipitation, you'd expect it to be active because there's a number of disturbances, and some of them, as we looked at, come off the Pacific. Some of them grab Gulf moisture as well, and there you go. The overall precipitation forecast in the next 10 days, the yellows represent what would be in excess of 2 inches. We may not quite make it there, but you'll get some juicy storms along the way. And so I guess then it shouldn't really be a surprise that looking at the snow forecast over the next 10 days, there's your stripe painted from the northern plains, the upper Great Lakes, right across southern Canada, and yes, into New England for some accumulating snow here over the next couple of weeks as well. So you say, okay, well, what is that really going to mean in terms of when that times out? You get a disturbance every couple of days in a pattern like this because the jet stream is so very active. So you end up with one disturbance at the middle of this week, which again, we're looking at right now, saying some areas may mix. Generally, probably warmth can come with it. Heading into the end of the weekend, there is another opportunity. And this is when I start saying, even on Friday night, there's one opportunity. But this is when I start saying, you know what? You can't pretend like you know from a week out exactly what's going to happen with that cold. because somebody is going to end up getting surprised, so to speak, as you get into it. You won't, because you watch this, but you know what I mean. As you get closer to it, oh, wow, that cold looks like it's going to hold on longer than we thought, right? And that's going to be the case again all the way to the end of the period. So now you're taking yourself out to the 23rd of the month, and you're saying, wait a minute, the trend's going the wrong way. I mean, if you got a linear trend out of this, that is a downward cooling trend. Look at this as we head out to the middle and end of the month. That's why I say winter ain't dead yet. Don't count it out. All right, there's still plenty of signs it's around. Now, I don't say that with giddiness in my voice. I'm kind of liking the fact that the snow's been melting. I'm just saying it like that's the forecast. The overnight low temperatures do the exact same thing. Signals of colder air in the second half of the month than you have coming out of the first half of the month. Just a reminder that our insights videos, those deep dive into meteorology that we do that look out to the next several days, will cover a lot of these storms when we get closer to them. You'll always find that in all of our videos, including this one, on our streaming weather network, on your smart TV, in the YouTube app, online at 1degreeoutside.live, or on our app right atop the home screen. We always appreciate your support and that you keep coming back, sunshine or storms, to 1 Degree Outside.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this 1 Degree Outside video.
Get exclusive content, support the mission at membership.onedegreeoutside.com. And don't forget, free and 5 stars on the App Store and Google Play. Search the #1 Degree Outside weather.